So and this is just the recent, like 2 or 3 days ago, there was a real lull, and I'm thinking, and I see.
Give us more detail, more lull.
Lull, just in feeling like, God, I don't know if I can get a handle on everything.
Because what prompted it?
I'm looking at my desk and all this stuff that needs to get done. That's
so let's do some path of least resistance work here. So you're looking at your desk. What's on it?
Oh, schedules to create and rehearsals to schedule and sectionals and the part where I'm the one being looked at. Oh, that's
so
in essence looked at to help everybody else get prepared and where they need to be.
I need to be all things to all people. You sound like every mother in the room. So what's the path of least resistance? I have too much to do, or I'm good at this.
I'm good at this.
What's the path of least resistance? I need to do this right now, this red hot minute, or inspiration will come and I will get it done.
Inspiration will come and I'll get it done.
What's the path of least resistance? I have too much to do. I need help. I'm really good at this, and help sometimes gets in my way. What's the path of least resistance? I need to train somebody to get in here and clean up some of this, or I'm really good at this when I get in the zone and I make short work of it. What's the path of least resistance? I'm making a big deal over nothing, or what's the path of least resistance? I'm making a big deal over nothing, or this is something that I really need to focus on. You just have to talk yourself into alignment. Can you see how the path of least resistance is a self-soothing process?
Yeah.
And what does it accomplish? What does self-soothing accomplish? It accomplishes a lower of resistance and therefore an increasing of allowance. Allowance of what? Alignment, which means clarity, which means awareness of what source who has broader view is showing you. Your path lights up. It's more pleasurable. Everything's more fun. You cannot lose by caring about how you feel, and you cannot win by paying no attention to how you feel.
Right, and I think what's lit up for me today is in the process. If that moment should happen again, now I have a different way of
what moment?
Of being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and so play it out for us in your mind. What happened?
When I get overwhelmed, yeah, I see it all. And it's like, I'll go get a cup of coffee instead of doing it all.
Well, going and getting a cup of coffee might be a temporary path of least resistance for a moment, but when you come back, it's still going to be there. And so what really is the path of least resistance? To make peace with that, to accept that that's all part of this, to acknowledge that you're good at this too, to acknowledge that this is all part of the process.
Yeah, and that's where I think I've had a flawed premise in my mind, whereas the finished product is always so exhilarating and fun, and seeing everybody lit up as a result of what we've done and all that kind of stuff. But leading up to it always feels less than.
But you see, you can't. But that is something really worth talking about, because you can't have a happy ending to a journey that has not been happy.
I didn't apply that. Okay.
So you have to find a way to work the bugs out of that, to get the bumps out of that. You have to make peace with what that is, either by hiring somebody who's good at it, or by acknowledging that it's not as difficult as it seems, or by acknowledging when I am out of the vortex, when I'm not in alignment, I just don't make as good of decisions. And when I am, things flow easily. Don't you know that? Mm-hmm. Don't you have moments when everything just goes so easily because you have activated and engaged and are welcoming the help of the entire cooperative universe? Can't you tell when you've engaged the help of a cooperative universe? And can't you tell when you've engaged the help of an uncooperative universe? Mm-hmm. Can't you tell what track you're on? So let's say that you have performed concerts that sucked. And then you performed concerts that just were amazing. So you know the difference. Mm-hmm. So couldn't you apply that to everything? Couldn't you have a miserable time just grinding through the details? Or couldn't you have a pleasurable time grinding through the details? Don't you realize that when you feel good, whatever you're doing feels good? Don't ask what you're doing to be the reason that you feel good, which brings us to the most important conversation of this day. Funny that we would leave it to the last minute. Conditional love or unconditional love, conditional alignment or unconditional alignment. Most need the condition to change before the emotion changes. You understand you change the emotion and the condition will change. So let's talk about this evolution from a vibration to a thought, to a word, to an experience. Over here, there are fewer conditions. If you can work the bugs out over here where there aren't any conditions, where it's just thought and feeling, it's so much easier. But if you wait until you're in the throes of rehearsals and too much to do and too many people and all of that, then it's hard. You got to work the bugs out of it over here. Mm-hmm. How do you get rid of doubt before you get it?
Before it starts.
Before it starts. So if you feel overwhelmed, you're right to go get a cup of coffee. You're right to take another stance. You're right to go get some sleep, to take another run at it. But don't keep practicing the thought that this is hard and this is the part I don't like to do. Start saying to yourself, I like all parts of my life. Esther's putting flyers on chairs last night, and her staff doesn't want her to do it. They don't think that she should. And she says, everything's fun to me. It's all fun. It's all fun. This part's fun. That part's fun too. Getting in the car and driving here, that was fun. Getting on an airplane, that's fun too. It's all fun. It's all fun. It's all fun, and it's all part of all of it. Because if you're just waiting until you're on the stage for the fun, that's a little tiny part of your life. And there's a whole lot of other things that ought to be fun, like all of it. It all ought to be fun. It all ought to feel good. It all ought to feel good. Good enough.
Yeah, it was. That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah.